So Nikki, tell us how long you've been sleeping rough in Plymouth.
Nearly 5 months.
And how did you end up in this situation?
I split up with my boyfriend, didn't have anywhere to live, and then found myself on the streets, and I've had no help from the council so far. Lack of local connection.
So whereabouts have you been sleeping?
In the mall, Drake Circus, in the Cotswold doorway. Been there just before Christmas.
And has this been the first period that you've spent on the streets?
Yes.
How have you found it? What's it been like?
It's difficult. You get used to it. You harden it to it a little bit. But I never expected myself to end up on the streets. But
what were you doing before? Did you have a job? And
I've always worked until the last year. I've always normally worked, and I've always had somewhere to live. But I have no family or anything to fall on, so I've just here I am.
What did you work as?
I used to work for Tesco. So.
And now are you sort of relying on people giving you money when you're on the streets?
Yeah, people can buy you food and buy you coffee and donations. Yeah, people are actually quite helpful and friendly.
Have you been able to sort of eat and feed yourself most days? Yeah,
we do eat well actually on the streets. It's not too bad. We've got soup runs and stuff that help you. It's not ideal, but we manage.
So you're out sort of every night, and are you seeing more people sleeping rough than you used to, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely an increase in it, and especially in Plymouth. I mean, it might be the same across the country, I don't know, but it's quite bad here at the moment.
I mean, can you put your finger on any kind of causes of that? What do you think it's down to?
Universal credit, personally. I think that's got a lot to do with it. They're expecting people to be able to pay their own rent, and if you've got any issues with budgeting or any substance abuse or then putting the money straight into your account and expecting them to pay the landlord's quite difficult. Some people can't do that, and also the landlords have got no guarantee they're going to get their money at the end of the month, so they're not likely to help people in our situation, so it's a bit of a risk for them. So
can you see a way out of this for yourselves?
I mean, I don't know, maybe one of the hostels or something will be able to help us soon, but I don't know.
Nikki, what's it like? Just paint a picture for anyone who's never been in this situation and don't know what it's like. What's it like sleeping on the streets at night time when it's cold?
Well, they say it's cold. It can be wet, windy. It's not nice. It isn't nice. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But it's just we've got to get on with it. There's nothing else we can do. So your attitude is that you've got to keep going.
What
else could I do? Do you know what I mean? You fall apart. I did at the beginning, but you've just got to get on with it.
Do you think it's affecting your sort of mental health and your physical health being out here?
Yeah, it does. I mean, if you get a cold or something, you don't get over it quite as quick, or my mental health probably I'm quite low at times, but it's not brilliant.
I think what we've seen over the last 2 months in particular is this inability to reduce the numbers of people using services like Shekinah. And I guess for me, Sam, there's something about we're not here by accident, and actually we're in a situation at the moment where people have thrown open church halls, we've got an explosion of food banks, and we're not asking some fundamental questions around homelessness. Why are prisons still releasing people from prison directly onto the street? Why are we still seeing people coming out the care system directly onto the street? And unless we ask those broader questions, I think it's going to be really difficult to see a reduction in the numbers that we're seeing at the moment.
So you're seeing about 50 people coming through the drop-in centre on average every day. Are they the same people, or are they sort of different people?
So we know from our figures, in January we saw about 176 different individuals come through the doors here, and in February that figure went up to about 191 different people. Now, not all of those people are on the streets, but actually it's a worrying trend again, and I've been doing this job for several years now, and they are probably some of the highest figures that I've seen. Now, that's not to say that we are not working incredibly hard with partner agencies and Plymouth City Council to address this, but actually I come back to my earlier points that actually the government are chucking money at this. My view is that you can keep chucking money at it, Sam, but unless they address some of the bigger system challenges, you and I will be having this conversation in 12 months' time.
What sort of pressures does it put on a charity like yours to see those numbers so high every month?
I think for us at Shekinah, and I think for other agencies in Plymouth, we are having to think very differently about how we deliver services. So we see a lot of greater co-location. So we've got quite a lot of partner agencies working with us, whether that's Plymouth City Council, whether that's GP services, or people like Path. So I think, in a funny sort of way, it's making us think about how we can deliver services differently, but the pressure on the staff is overwhelming on a daily basis.
I mean, in the short term, what would you like to see to get the numbers down? When I ask you for the March figures in a month's time, what can we do to make them drop?
So I think there are some things that we could do, but it isn't we. I think it's about government. I think there absolutely needs to be a review of the welfare system at the moment. We've got to make accommodation affordable for people, and under the current welfare system, it's clearly not affordable. There needs to be an absolute push around housing. We do not have a decent national housing strategy. Now, I know that isn't going to happen tomorrow, so I will go back to my point that I think welfare reform and reviewing housing benefit payments to open up the market to people who currently cannot access it around affordability would be a good step in the right direction.
The government says it has given Plymouth more than £1.3 million over the last year to tackle the issue, and adds that rough sleeping figures overall are down for the first time in 8 years. Plymouth City Council say Nikki and Mark have repeatedly rejected offers of accommodation and refused to engage with officers.